everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today we are doing my March monthly wrap-up. So if you missed my mid-month wrap-up, I will link it down in the description box below. I made a good decision to split the video in half because I read about 10 books in the first 2 weeks. And I read about, I read 14 books the second half of the month. I don't normally read this much. It just depends on the month for me, but yeah, I read a lot of books this month, a total of almost 25 books. That's a lot. So yes, and I was able to film today. It is bright and sunny out, so I can have my windows open. It was super duper dark, like around 10 a.m. and I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to film this. I'm gonna have to wait until tomorrow, but it's sunny, it's nice out, very sunny actually. There's a bright like beacon of sunshine in that window. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So, as I said, I finished 14 books this past 2 weeks. For star ratings, I had no 1 stars, so that was a nice change of pace this year. I had 1 2-star, 4 3-stars, 7 4-stars, and 2 5-stars. So a lot of 4 and 5 stars, which I'm really happy about this month. If you have stuck around the past few months, there have been a lot of meh months, a lot of so months so far this year. But this month was really good. Okay, for my 2-star, I only have a 1, and it is Run For It by Marcelo de Sale. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it is about these slaves who work on plantations, and they try to kind of escape really any way possibly they can from trying to get away from them. And honestly, it was unfortunately not as good as I thought it was going to be, as I really can't remember much about it, and that's not good for a book if I can't really remember hardly anything about it. It is good to learn a little bit more about historical facts and stuff through historical fiction, and so for that I did give it 2 stars, but it just wasn't for me. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it because I really don't remember much about this book, unfortunately. Okay, so next up are 3 stars, and I have 4 of them. The first one is Nancy Drew, Bad Times, Big Crimes by Carolyn Keene. And this one I gave 3 stars. I enjoyed it a little bit, but I do remember reading this one quite a long time ago, and some parts I still remembered. It's about how Nancy Drew, she goes to a lecture, and she ends up falling asleep and finding herself back during, I believe, the early 1900s. And so she has to solve a mystery that was kind of talked about in the lecture, but she finds herself back in time in that era. And so it was good, but it wasn't one of my favorite Nancy Drews. Okay, the next book that I want to talk about, which I just finished yesterday, and that is The Emperors Riddle by Kat Zhang. This is a middle grade kind of adventure treasure hunting book. I did enjoy it, but the clues and the kind of the riddles that went on in here, they just happened too quick. They were solved too fast for me. So it definitely felt more like a National Treasure type, which I do love National Treasure, but the clues were just solved way too fast for me, and it was just like, you know, like there really wasn't anything like they knew exactly where to go and almost exactly where to look, and I was like, it's just happening too fast for me, especially for an adventure novel. Like there should be like, I don't know, a few more problems or a few more things happening. So it was cute, that's why I gave it 3 stars, but a little too much happening too fast for me. Okay, and then the next book that I want to talk about is a few of these I talked about yesterday in my video, just so you know, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. The next one is the let's look at my paper. Oh yeah, Disney Kingdoms Figment, and this is a whole collection of Figment comic books. I believe it is the whole collection series. It has like, I think between 6 to 8 editions in one volume. It was on Libby, so if you want to check it out, maybe your library will have it available on there. But it was cute. I gave it 3 stars as I love Figment. He is one of my favorite Disney characters, maybe my favorite of all time. The ride is adorable. But yeah, so just about Figment and how he came to be out of someone's imagination. So it was really cute and really fun, and I did enjoy it. Some weird parts, because it's definitely a lot of more fantasy related, so there was a little bit of weird stuff happening, but it was okay. All right, and then the last one, I left it downstairs. Okay, but the last one I want to talk about for 3 stars is The Maid by Anita Prose. And I read this with one of my very dearest friends, Debbie. We buddy read this. We started in actually February, but we ended up finishing it in March. And it was cute. I enjoyed kind of the like the cozy mystery. There's a murder happening. It's about this maid who she kind of has a really hard time figuring out social cues. She doesn't know exactly, like, you know, she thinks someone is in love with her, but, you know, what's really happening, what's going on. You know, she finds herself in a lot of really sad situations where she doesn't know exactly what's happening. And so she finds herself in this hotel room that she is planning on cleaning, and she ends up finding a dead body in the bed. So it's all about how she end up supposedly being accused of the crime, and we don't know who did it, but it was good. It's kind of not really a locked room mystery, but I would say it's close to a locked room mystery, as most of the stuff happens in the hotel, so I would say locked hotel mystery. But it was good. I gave it 3 stars. Some parts were a little bit slow for me, but other than that, I did enjoy it. And if you like kind of cozy mystery, but kind of like a different take on it, I would recommend that book. Okay, on to 4 stars. The first one I want to talk about is Between Shades of Grey, the graphic novel. And I still have not read the actual book, but I do plan on reading it, hopefully soon. But it's by Ruta Sepetys, but it is adapted by Andrew Duncan and illustrated by Dave Kopka. And the illustrations are really beautiful. I wish I had it, but I think it was due at the library, so I don't have it with me. But the illustrations were really good to kind of tie in the story. But it is about this mother, daughter, and son, and they end up being taken into kind of a, like, not really concentration camp, but almost, where they're kind of pushed into these cattle cars and they're taken to different camps. But it was a good representation of the book, and so it honestly made me more excited to actually read the physical book. So I would definitely be getting into the full-length novel soon. Okay, next book that I want to talk about, I don't have the physical copy either, but it is Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine, another 4 stars. And I wanted to read this because I wanted to read the companion novel, Ogre Enchanted, but I never got around to the companion novel. But at least I read the first one, and I can't remember if I read it before or not. If I did, it was a long time ago. But it's about kind of this, like, quirky fairy who she gives gifts without realizing the consequences of the gifts. So she ends up giving this baby the gift of always being obedient. And yeah, so because she was crying when she was born, and so the fairy gives her the gift of always being obedient. So if someone says stop crying, she stops crying. And there are certain consequences that happen along the way. A lot of people are extremely mean to her because of this, even though they don't know exactly why she is obedient to everything that is given as an order. But it was cute. It was fun. That's why I gave it 4 stars. And I listened to it on the audiobook. I think I would have preferred the physical book, but it was still cute. Okay, and then the next one, I just finished a couple days ago. I finished my first Agatha Christie. I'm so happy that I finally read one. I've been kind of intimidated by it because I didn't know if I was going to enjoy her writing. They're more on the older side, so I really wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy them. but I ended up giving this one 4 stars. It was Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie, and it was really good. So this is about a lot of things happening in this book. There is a robbery, there is murder. It's a good time all around. It all takes place on, or most of it takes place on the Nile, and a wife gets murdered, and we have to figure out what happened. I actually ended up solving this one, my very first one, and I figured out who did it and pretty much the entire reason why the murder happened. So I did really well for my first time. I was very pleased. So I'm actually reading Murder on the Orient Express. I'm reading that one this month with one of my friends. So I'm very happy that I'm actually enjoying them, and I will continue to read them. All right, let's see. The next 4-star that I want to talk about is, and I have this one. That one is Sweep, A Story of a Girl and Her Monster by Jonathan Auxier. And this book is definitely making me want to pick up more of his books, so I will have to find more. This book was so cute and so fun. So it's about a girl who is a chimney sweep for a man who isn't very nice, and along with quite a few other children who are pretty much starving to death, who are treated not really nicely, and she's waiting for her sweeper to come back. He took care of her as a child, and one day he just disappears, and she finds herself unfortunately working for a different man, and he leaves her kind of a gift that she won't exactly find out what that gift is capable of until years later. So it's very, very cute, very, very fun, very heartbreaking in some moments. I almost cried. And yeah, it was super duper cute, and I definitely highly recommend this if you've never read it. Okay. Next up, I do have a couple more that I have handy. Okay. Is the Aggie Morton Mystery Queen, The Body Under the Piano. This is the first book in the Aggie Morton mystery series. This one, we find Aggie Morton, who is kind of like Agatha Christie when she was younger, and she meets a new friend called Hector Poirot, which is kind of a play on Hercule Poirot. And so this is all about how she discovers a body under a piano during a kind of a presentation to help immigrants and stuff, and she ends up finding a body the next day, and they have to figure out what happened and why everything happened. And again, I actually kind of solved this one fairly early on. Like once a clue appeared, I knew immediately who was it and kind of who did it. So it was really, really good, and yeah, I can't wait to continue this series, and I definitely will continue it. All right, the next 4-star is a graphic novel. I don't normally give graphic novels high star ratings, but I gave 2 of them 4 stars this month. So I read No One Returns from the Enchanted Forest by Robin Robinson, and this one was just so cute. It's about these trolls who live underground, and they end up finding out that there's earthquakes happening, and their home is being kind of pretty much being destroyed, and this one little troll ends up going to the surface and finding the supposed queen who is causing these, and yet nobody believes her, that, and her sibling doesn't believe that that there is a queen up there that's causing these earthquakes. So she ends up going, and her sibling ends up following her, even though her sibling is afraid, and ends up trying to find her. And it's really cute. It's about kind of bravery in tough situations, and it was just really cute. It was a lot of fun. And the last 4-star that I have is The Girl Who The Girl Who Couldn't Remember. That's what it is. The Girl Who Couldn't Remember by Nancy Drew, or by Carolyn Keene. Apparently my brain is gone for the day. Hopefully it'll come back for me. Okay, but yeah, The Girl Who Couldn't Remember by Carolyn Keene. Apparently I can't remember what the title is or the author, so this is a great book to talk about now. Okay, But Nancy Drew and her friends are taking a vacation in the woods, and of course, Nancy Drew cannot go on a vacation without a mystery. I mean, how just like one book where she just has a good time, no mystery involved. Poor Nancy. Okay. But there is a thump at the door one day, and they open it, and here is a woman on the ground who does not remember how she got there or what's going on. I believe she remembered her name, but that is about it. So they have to figure out what is going on with this poor girl that they found and try to solve a mystery. So it was cute. I gave it 4 stars. Okay, on to our final 2 books. 5 stars, and I have them both in physical copy. So the first one is The Secret of Shadow Ranch by Carolyn Keene. And this is another Nancy Drew book. I read a lot of Nancy Drew this month. I think I read like 5. But I read this one. This one was 5 stars for me. It's about Nancy Drew and her friends who end up on, I believe it is Bess and George's uncle's ranch, where mysterious things are happening, and Bess and George's uncle say, go home because bad things are happening and they don't want the girls to get injured and stuff. But Nancy, of course, says, no, I am staying. And so she stays and tries to solve the mystery of this phantom stallion that is appearing. And every time the phantom stallion appears, some sabotage happens around the ranch. So it's really cute. There's a little bit of mystery happening, sabotage, of course, and it's just a good time. Good time for Nancy Drew. All right, and now the last book of the month, and my favorite book of the month is it my favorite book? Yes, it's my favorite book of the month. Okay. Is Tell Me by Joan Bauer. And if you know me, I absolutely love Close to Famous. It's one of my favorite middle grade books of all time by the same author. And now this one is a contender for my favorite Joan Bauer. And I've only read 2 so far, but this one is so, so, so good. So this is about, and I never can remember names, Anna. Okay, this is about Anna, who she visits her grandmother for the summer because her parents are kind of having arguments and splitting up a little bit. And so she goes and she ends up volunteering at the local library for the flower festival. And so she's volunteering, and then all of a sudden she sees a girl come out of a car, and they're foreign. She doesn't know what language they're speaking, but there's a man who's very angry in the car, and there's this woman who's pulling this girl like up to the library, trying to ask where the bathroom is. And Anna realizes that there is a very scared look in this girl's eyes, and she looks terrified. And this woman goes into the bathroom with her, and like kind of it's a 1-person bathroom, but the woman goes in with her and then comes back out and leaves. But Anna knows something is going on, and she needs to figure out if this girl's in trouble. So it's very, very good. Joan Bauer does a great job of of kind of like real life situations going on, and it's a really good time. It definitely is, and I really enjoyed this book. And honestly, I never would have picked up a Joan Bauer book if it wasn't for a prompt that I had last year in a challenge group. So I thank that challenge, because I love this book, and I have about 6 more books that I have not read yet. So I will definitely be picking up more of these. So those are all the books that I read this year. This year. I told you, my brain is totally gone. If you find it, let me know down in the comments below if you found my brain. And let me know down in the comments what your favorite book was of March. So these are some of the books that I read this month. And yeah, there were some really, really good ones. I'm really pleased with a lot of what I read this month. And yeah, it was just a good month this month. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.